how do I get that look? What camera did he use? And that's the first thing that most new people generally think it comes from. Hey, what's going on? This is Jay Sean at Aputure Reviews, and today I wanted to show you a great way to get started at getting good color. Now, this is mainly geared towards beginners, and I say this because most people who search on YouTube see vloggers, filmmakers, or other creators' final creation and think, what camera did they use? Let me first start by saying that the camera is just a tool to help capture your idea, and a lot goes into seeing a final product that goes way beyond the camera. For example, the subject, location, set design, and most importantly, the lighting. Now, all that's important, but in this video, we're gonna focus more on getting a great starting place for color aesthetics alone. So log is new to some, and while being new, you may not fully understand how to make the most of it. So the first step with log or non-log footage is to expose your image correctly. Now, depending on your camera, some people actually prefer to overexpose, while some recommend not to. That will be a creative choice, but many overexpose and later bring back the highlights and the blacks and lower them to have less visible noise. So whatever you do, just don't clip the highlights or the shadows, because once that information is lost, you can't get it back. Now, you'll have to do some trial and error with your particular camera and setup, but if you do overexpose, I'd only recommend overexposing about 2/3 to a full stop overexposure at the most. Now, I say this because you may experience a lot of odd color shifts and pasty looking footage on some cameras when pushing the image too far. Now, if you have an external monitor or a camera that supports it, you could also take advantage of exposure tools such as false colors, but we're gonna save that for another video. So without trying to overcomplicate things, I'll be speaking on this process in more of a layman's term so you can just get the general idea without it being too technical. Now, you'll also want to set your white balance as well. Make sure you cut some white balance before starting. So a lot of creators that you see basically now are using Luts. Luts are made for log and Rec. 709 footage, but today we're just going to focus more on the log footage. Luts can also be used to convert your log footage to a Rec. 709, which is what I would like to call a normal look. So from there, you can push or pull back to preserve and potentially have better detail or dynamic range than shooting directly with Rec. 709 from the beginning. The other part of the LUT, and how most of you see it on YouTube and other places, would be a creative LUT. Now, this helps to create more of a stylized look. Some people or companies have created these original LUTs. So your editing software could have actually included some of these. Some could be from Kodak, Fuji, or other type of LUTs to emulate different looks from those manufacturers. Now let me show you some effortless, quick examples. These examples are shot in film mode on a BlackMagic Pocket 4K in 1080p. And as you can see, by simply adding a LUT and making minor adjustments, you can quickly change the look or the mood of your footage. Now keep that in mind. Color grading is usually to enhance the mood of the story that you're trying to tell. If not, then it's basically your personal stylized look. If you like how LUTs help you with your footage, then by all means just go for it. But in my personal opinion, I just think it's a great way to start, especially if you have little to no experience. Now, what I mean by that is, as you grow, you may learn to color grade without using them. So by no means am I a master grader. Sometimes I use creative LUTs to create a starting point, and I do this by simply not just slapping the LUT on and leaving it as is, even though you could do that. I apply it and make adjustments within the LUT, and I'll often add additional layers to help make it my own. Now keep in mind that larger productions that you may admire have dedicated color graders who specialize in this field. And this is just a great way for an independent creator just like yourself to get the ball rolling without thinking too much into it. Now don't let color grading or any other process take away from you actually creating. So I hope this was helpful. Keep creating, keep inspiring, and until next time.